Hey guys, think the camera is very position. Great. Okay, I'm trying to see what I see here. There we go. Welcome. Everyone joining. If not, I'll do a check. Wait a second. A friend of mine wanted to see if I will be living. She wanted to watch with you. So I will send her. That senpai that I was talking about in the last stream. So she will be joining soon. I will wait for her before I begin. That's it. So all of the bits are going here. Still little I have from 704. Like that's crazy tiny amount. Okay, I can see them if they were here. So a bit higher. A bit higher. There we go. A little bit higher. There we go. This I don't need anymore. So, alright, you can see that really big canvas. I'm sorry, we have to. And now, so I will. I think I will start round and round and round and round, round and round and round and round. You see? There you go. I should put this like this. Yeah, you can see what it is. Because if I'm doing it like this, it will. Oh, okay. It might still work. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to. Yeah. Outside. Okay, welcome. You're newbie here. I love diamond painting and everything is kind of long. I don't know how in the world I zoom in, but you will have to excuse me. I don't know. All right, great. You can see all the numbers. Come on, focus. Okay, won't focus in here, but yeah, I have all the numbers. Wait a second, 37 numbers. So, I think I will wait for her like a couple more minutes. She will come eventually. So, to do a diamond painting, like I do, oh, I can see that it's totally, great. Yeah, I hate this stuff where you have only one time. But they're here, like you have tons of them in one spot, like that. I guess I will start from here. You need trays. You see, I have several trays where you put your diamonds. Let's say this. By the way, I bought a couple days ago this like container for the beads. You see, good container, closing good, but as you can see, they're way too small. So we aren't gonna use them. I'm gonna use other word. I love to chew on this because it's gone in and out. This is what you will be looking. This is what will help us. Now I need, as you will be able to see, I'm looking for the wax beads, the waxy one. Yeah, sometimes it's get away. I hate when the waxy gets goes away. Maybe the one on the floor. Yeah, no, not this. What I pulled off the floor. Tape. That's not the wax. We will continue. I will show you all the colors if we are in this. And the most is blue. Wow, there's one open. Here, look what happened. Just a second, I will take all of them and put them into trays. That's happened to me once already. Oh, I know how to deal with it. Downside is that, yeah, this can happen a lot. If you are like me and don't close, delete. Lucky, it's like goes stick it. You need to watch out not to put too many wax in the one tray due to stickiness. So yeah, I was showing the number of colors of them. All the other are really close that way. Well. You can see that may happen if you aren't careful. Here, one more. It wasn't very closed. No, the wax isn't here. So let's bring all of them back. Let's keep looking for it. Wait just a second, my friend. No. That's another message that I want to display now. I may have to mute this and bring someone to look for the wax because I cannot see the wax. Wait a second. The downside of those, that if you step on this, that is extremely painful. Washi tapes I don't need. I will put all of you little bums the other end of the acid to the floor. I don't really need you. I don't know. I heard something. So. Wait. Yo Sorry, guys. I will bar there. So yeah, the camera arm again. I need to set up the camera. Yeah. Okay. We'll see. I hope so. Wait a second. Wait a second. Excuse me. That's the wax. This is wax that will hold for a lifetime. See how much wax I have. For those who doesn't know how to work with wax, sometimes it's sometimes annoying me because wax get in the tip of there, so like fiber, I stick it. Whoops! Doing a roundabout, and there we go. Well, wax I will do. Now we have wax. I don't think you will be able to see the wax. There's no way. You saw a little glare. Great. So, as you can see here, we're starting off with an iron color. Okay, let's search. 377 RGC and 3835. Alright. So, for now, it's gonna be here till I found the stuff. After that, you will be able to see. I will. That's annoying my way. Okay. You aren't able to see, but I'm putting them like in a row. 3727, isn't it? No, it's not it. Yeah, it's it. I chose a really, really, really bad spot to start. Okay, and we'll do this. Okay, no, this I won't need. I will need this. Nothing different. So as you can see, I'm going through all of them and looking for what I need. I need? No, I don't need it. Yeah. Nope. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I will be needing the V. I don't think I need A's. Look on how many whites I have. So many whites. It barely enter. No. Sorry, I'm playing off a lot of stuff. Here, another one. That's the white that barely fits. This is barely fitting this baby. The faggy serpent language, I don't care. I'm sorry that you can hear all the sounds. 904. I need to see because I'm not sure. So yeah, that's probably it. 904, 904. 49. No, 904. Yeah, so I will need this. Nope. All the boys are already taken them out. Nope. I'm pretty certain I will. At some point. No, it's not going to be here. Okay. No. It is not going here. I'm sorry it's taking so long. Taking this. Nope. Create your file. Well, maybe. Nope. Nope. And with me present it. No. Nope. 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 No. Yeah. That's it. What? No. Again. It's close. This isn't closed. Okay. Closed. Black. What was the one who opened accidentally? There was one I opened it accidentally. I think it was A90. No, way too bright. 906. Yep, that was 906 that opened. So, what we're doing, we've got file off. Hold on. Okay, open my tray. Yeah, confirming. Okay. Great. What is this? All of this color here. So we won't get on our way. Okay. Let's a little bit of, let's see a tiny bit of Z in here. I will put only a tiny bit. And you boys going out. Yeah, that's the downside. Sometimes they get mixed here. See, wait, go away. Go away. You may see some more. Okay. You see, I barely put something inside of my tray. You want them facing up that way. I think there was only one baby of Z that's color. Let's open. Yeah, you don't want to open all, so you open just a tiny bit. That's what I need to be open. Excuse my phone. Yeah, that's the most annoying part. They tend to. It's also British saying utensils. Here, you see, it fell on an unwanted spot, so remove it. Like when it's glue and you're sure you can glue it, you attach it, then it's a great glue. But otherwise, sorry, my nose is kind of itchy. Otherwise, I recommend. It happened to me once that the baggie full of that, and see, wait a second. I have asked my phone by the way. Charging. Sorry, that was work related. Sorry about the sound. It's not a very active family, by the way. But when it's active, when my mom have to work, and then it's nice in here. What I'm doing is I'm shaking it so it's stuck on my finger, so it will face, only one direction, only in the up direction. You see, now I'm doing space because here we're gonna have another one. Just a second. Sorry about that. You may, some of you, the most high definition view may saw my dog. Sorry, my t-shirt keep coming up. Excuse my phone. Sometimes it's have a life off. It's I see what happened. You press too hard and it like several of them jump. And that's why you try to press as gentle as you can. I'm sorry that you need to hear my family chatting. If that annoys you, of course. If not, great. They're talking about my cat that isn't feel really well. Okay. Um, just a second. My friend wants me to share it online, the the live. Right, so post it online. So yeah, if you see this, hey, what's up? Missing you, lady. Yeah, I call him yeah. Yeah, I know how to call my friend yeah. I have a lot of friends. I'm just kidding. I don't. I have anxiety attacks. I have a lot of friends. Like, let me tell you a story. Today I went to the mall because I had to go to my psychiatrist. The woman can't talk. And well, I went inside the mall, and all of a sudden I was overwhelmed with the noises and like the people talking. It wasn't a like on Friday there is a shuk. There is some sort of food festival. Like they sell a lot of food for the Shabbat, prepared food for Shabbat, and well, then it's extremely noisy. It wasn't that kind of noisy, but it was noisy enough to overwhelm me, overwhelm my senses, and I don't like it. You can see I try not to push way inside of the canvas. Um, by the way, if you want to talk, you can you can leave a comment, and I would appreciate if you subscribe to me. I'm a newbie. I'm a baby newbie. But I love what I'm doing. I don't care if no one will see it. I will need this. Or the second. My mom will probably show into the live. She's the coolest mom. Like, tolerate me. It's more than enough. Um, yeah, having trouble seeing the love. I'm using now the color Z, the symbol Z I'm looking for. That's the color. Oh, jeez. Number 73727. As you can see, there aren't many of them right in this spot. But still worth checking this out. Don't think there is any left here. No, not a single one. Right. Yeah, sometimes it's, see how little you need to put inside. Unless you like doing a big section like this, that's like, wait a second, where's my hand? Like this, a lot of the same color. So I will share it with my Nichan. It's more like my Ototo younger brother. So may he join in. I will try to put some of my favorite music quietly, of course. Yeah, we'll go mix. That's my favorite part. Like the butterflies in the sky, and I wings my hand, everything on fire with faces. What God if I could only make them real? I can go upper. Within the dreams we see our world is painted differently. Look like reality, you can tell the way. There is a touching frequency, feels the fear. This is deep, this is deep. In life, I get this feeling in me. I love it, yeah. So much love in this. I might cry. Oh, love, on the radio, I can buy. Sing in the sky, not the wings, but your nails. Follow the places I would come if I could. Sorry if my voice isn't started, yeah. Yeah, another one with not so much beats. It's up to everyone around. I'm sorry if you don't like me singing. By the way, I don't own any of this music. All of the music for the respective people. I will post a link below from the for the singer. She's called the, as you can hear before, Lian Lee or Emily, depending on how long you know her. She does make a fun dub of anime songs, and overall, she's one of the greatest singers around. I remember. Me and Senpai afterwards. That's well, Senpai. Hey, I will call you Senpai. If that's okay. You know the otaku that I went to in Yomatsu mode. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's the otaku. I will call you Senpai from now on. Okay? So no name need to be said. So in Senpai love this song. Senpai love this song more in the wait a second. More in the Japanese version. If Senpai wants, then I will ask her. So I will mail the streaming her work, the work I'm doing for her. So this work is for sale. If you're interested, if I finish, I will sell it. So if you want, direct message me. We can work price. It's going to be $40 because this site cost me $25 and I'm charged $10, so $35 and $5 for shipping. Whenever you are, if you are in Israel, so it will be free of shipping cost. If you're in Israel, I can deliver it right to your door. How about here? Okay, see a lot of songs of her. Oh, that's one of my favorite. You know, I have this issue with the YouTube that when I do mix songs, I can't do in the in the browser. It doesn't let me in my application in my phone. It does. Another place doesn't let me to fix it to like mix it. Always mix for 5 seconds and then it'll collapse. With the songs of welcome daybreak, it's a melody I hear in my memory when I watch birds that fly off into the eastern sky. Know that the waste can be seen. So this is Emily, only Emily. The song from the Mermaid Melody, Peach Peach Peach. Go away. Our paradise, can we be reborn in the wake of a storm? So that I can show you the words of my heart. There is so much I would give to you. That in my life there is not enough time. Underneath those waves there is our melody. Telling in the story of faraway land. I'll still know, so I won't forget. So from the song, make that live on. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite. So whoever doesn't know Lian Lee, she's one of the artist of mine that I love. And now we will listen to the one. I'm sorry. To One Day One Dream from Inuyasha in Dual K. It's a channel called Dual K, do fan tab in Spanish. He did this and many more great shows. And he's in this is collaborating with Louis is channel named Luigi. I call him Luigi. I don't know why. So yeah, it's one of the best. One of my first channels that I love. Ayuda cualquier adversidad. Lento que tiene de gran fortaleza. Que el Señor revelador hizo que mi corazón no tuviera el valor para him. You can see he has slight problem with the wax. Las pruebas, es que estás permitida. Sometimes the wax is annoying. De soñar, la tristeza de la vida. El mañana cerca está. So no quieres más. Wouldn't I give it to see? I want to finish all of the color. Just a second. It's telling about you need to believing that one day you will reach your meta, your place. Like it's telling me that sends me like a send it arrow directly at me. This is a won't be left behind. Maybe someday I will. Maybe someday the bus will return. I think I heard a mosquito. How long would you die? So as I was saying, this tiny piece will be tiny piece 100 over 65 will be fixed. So no one wants. Let's go back. Direct message me and we can work on price. By the way, all my prices are negotiable, if you know. If you live in Israel, I am going to there we go. So, if you live in Israel, I'm going to HarborCon and every conference that you wish, and I also will be in French Con, in the Paris Con, so we can meet there too. And I'm a shy person, but I really hope to one day open a small booth in Paris Con. Why my mom? Living in an apartment, it's some of the downsides of living in an apartment. But every movement you can hear it. Yeah, I didn't. Okay. I can't remember this song. But it's a beautiful song, I think. Oh. And maybe soon I will have to do small. It's a beautiful song. I will may have to go to bathroom. I will go to do a bathroom break. So you might stay. So I need to cover my. I can hardly keep it. Next color would be, I guess it could. Yeah, that's gonna be this. Yeah, we'll need a lot of this color. I need to. We'll be right back. Oh, I love this song. So I'm back, and look who I have with me. Luna, very pretty face. Yeah, she's my Siamese cat. I will try to tell her better. Yeah, that's my Siamese kitty. She's the best kitty ever. Go, go. I swear I have stopped. Sorry, I was. One can say poop. So, yeah, I poop. I had poop. I had doo doo. I don't know what they love me so much for hey doo doo. So, this song is from really, I myself really recommend this anime to you. Okay, I picked one. It's it's called Full Moon Uwasagshite. Yeah, that's really. I have no I have I don't have enough words to praise it. It's really like when you see it, you will know what I'm talking about. In English, the translation is roughly to searching for the full moon. Best anime ever. Well, that was my favorite by far. I watched it, I think, 10 or 20 times. And I won't spoil it to you, but I will say that it's kind of heavy anime. Like it's sad. It's sad. It's about a girl who wants to sing, but she's also sick. So she finds two friends who help her achieve her dream, become a singer. So that's basically the what Full Moon was actually about. Um, I really love this show. I have, I think, 72 chapters. I'm not sure. I'm sure. Yeah, 72 chapters. Um, the girl, by the way, I won't say which one. The name is Mitsuki Koyama. That's all basically I can say about, you know, spoilering. So, Mitsuki Koyama wants to be a singer. That's basically it. But she's sick. And I think she's 12 years old. Don't capture me anymore. The two friends that came alone in Hopper called Takuto and Meruko. I love the name Takuto. Takuto! I love those chapters where in every anime at least, so it's not spoiler. They show like the pasts of any troubled character, like say, like I will put my own reference, like I won't spoiler any anime if you don't see any anime. Let's say me myself. Um, so basically I have an anime, so there's always a chapter where I will explain why I'm so. So why is the evil evil? What's the good good? Like what happened? What brought them so far? Like being who they are. What are you here? What are you? Why are you here? What are you here? So I love this. There is a chapter, of course, about some best stuff, and I think that's one of the most. It's like a musical anime. There's a lot of songs, as you can see. That isn't one of that was shot in anime, but that's Love Live Sunshine. Aquarius. My lovely song. I will put it a bit louder. Because this is a mix. Not loud enough. I don't know the words, so I won't sing. Like I listen to this like thousands of times, but yet I don't know the word. Love Life Sunshine is idol project. Love Life Sunshine. About a girl who want to have an idol club, a like singing club, but and she needs to convince friends to show, and they show and they do a performances and it's competition basically. It's like idol, American Idol, or something that or voice or the voice or all these American shows, I guess. It's to be honest, I love more Sunshine than the normal one because it was Love Live and now this Love Live Sunshine. They were now I'm not sure, but when they just aired, they were the most popular animes in Japan. Mama, I had more read. Well, also the colors in that anime is pretty good. Even though there was one I don't like. There is the Nico Nikoni. If you are Nico Nikoni, Anata no Hatta ni Nico Nikoni. Well, that's from Love Live. Love Live Sunshine. Like he doesn't have that girl, but it has its version. Tsundere. To those that don't know what a tsundere is, where do you live? Do you live under a rock? You know Markiplier? There was a YouTuber Markiplier. So yeah, I watched his channel, and I once heard him try to say the first time he said tsundere, he said tsundere. And I almost, if I was by his side, I would smack him over the head so hard. Because right the Sundari. Like, it was so funny. Trying to pronounce something and say that. The Sundari! I will have you at the Sundari. It doesn't say that, it says something else about Sundaris. Excuse my phone. I should charge. היי יעל, are you in? את פה? אם את פה, את יכולה לכתוב בצ'אט שתגידי פשוט אני פה. וזהו, זה יהיה מגניב. סטרוברי. כן, זאת מי ששרה עכשיו. Hey, welcome to a special rising. Can you stay still tonight? Here we go. אני כל כך חולה על זה. תגידי, שומעים את המוזיקה? You don't have to be in the live. You can chat, of course. You can say the chat. Pay attention. I want you to stay silent. I'm gonna shut my phone. I'm serious. Don't worry about you, please. It's constant and random of my heart. Yeah, I love the song. The funny part that I don't listen, usually don't listen to it at the end. I always got it after the first part. So senpai, are you here, senpai? I'm sorry, my cat is being noisy. Nothing new about it. So, yeah, senpai was in the live stream for a second. Is this a little? Don't want to work, gotta get it up. No, hurry up! Am I okay? I okay? So I don't know this song. Shut up! Yeah, sometimes it gets stuck together. And this off my chest, you're the reason why I'm gonna leave living in. Yeah, sometimes I don't understand the word. So this is Strawberry. It's a channel called Strawberry. I don't have another name. Wait a second. Her channel is Oh, that's singingly, amazingly. I forget, totally forget he's the one who sang this song. You can hear she's an amazing voice. I hate this shit propaganda. Oh, that's a good song. I don't know who sings it. Distance, Cliff Edge, featuring Nakamura Maiko. Yeah, it sounds like it's going to have a rap, isn't it? And I think not someone well. Particular type of song. There we go. Oh, I love this song. I think that's the Japanese version. I want to learn more. That's from Giraffe Blues Freya full song. That's the song. Wanted to say something. I forgot what I wanted to say. Don't put much in a tomato, but with a fingerprint of zero. By the way, Senpai she allows me to stream her work through the work and things like that. And then it's a guess. No, I'm not per se that she pays me. Just say that I'm doing this work, the work and not this, the other one. I'm doing especially for her, so she can have it. She's my senpai. I cherish her friendship a lot. Yeah, sometimes I can be a bum bum, a tush tush. I can be an unpleasant person. And she's distant by myself. That's an amazing friendship, I would say. So if you're listening to senpai, thank you. Your friendship is more than appreciated. Her family is cool too. She has a brother and a sister, and mother and father, of course. All of them are really nice. I won't tell anymore, so We don't know much about her. She's a mystery. Like you know already a lot. Like she has family, of course. Um, we both love anime, as you can hear still in the background. Wait a second. We both laugh at stupid jokes. We both find art amusing, but we have a different opinion about how to walk in the museum. I like rush it over the museum. I'm seeing everything in 1 second, and after that, that's it. I need to wait to move on. Usually go with my mama. Sorry, propagandists. I don't know. Another Oriental Amelie, however you want to call her. This is from Tsubasa Chronicle, whoever doesn't see them. I see this part of my childhood, I would say. It's a pretty. I remember until today, even though I haven't seen the version like forever, I remember the song. מתי יורידותך ואני אהיה לבד שטרח לאופן עד כמה רחוק תהיה שני לבבותינו קרובים ללב לעולם לעולם אהיה לצדך עם החור עם החור באשר תלך שם אני אהיה איתך עטופים בתוך החשיכה נכנסנו אל ממלכת האפלה וציפורים תמימות פרסנו כנף לצאת מגלות רק נשאלה מעדנים קשים של דינות מחבור אחד תמיד יהיה החיוך בין הרצל נעלו ימס חרכת את מימי האסור בחינוך שלך. Like I know the short version, that's the short version. Oh, come on. You can see I did a bunch of things here for radio mistake. I will show it right now. I can see it. That's the Inuyasha song. I don't like it. I don't know why I still have it. Yeah. Okay, sure. That's. By the way, the one who sings this song now, "Fight Together" in English version, has completely disappeared from the YouTube. Like I don't know if he got hired, so he deleted his channel. But now I hear this. There's his song is in the official version of One Piece in English. In USA. Right before the break of dawn, tomorrow waiting for all of us, and I will no regrets. It's now the made up my mind. Know what I'm supposed to. I wish I know what I'm supposed to do. It's a long way. The sun is strong from there to the next day. Sunday's early, I want to go. We'll break free, but if we're not together, I don't know what to do. I'll leave a woman for you, go back the more. Daughter is here, and I'll have something. I love this song because it's also the scenery in the in the opening is so beautiful. Like the vision is are so pretty. And I don't want to spoiler you what happened in the anime. But it's after what I call a heavy saga. Like it's in One Piece, it's called by sagas. Saga. the first saga, second, and so it was the Marineford saga, the one before this song. And this song, when I every time I see that, it's like a punch in the guts be- because of what happened before. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, still, in the end, I'm still getting punched in the guts every time I think about it. Oh, this song, every person, every friend of the main character, and then oh my god, this smile. Yeah, I have a husband. Yeah, I can't, if I can cry from listening to this. I we see a lot of Emily today. For a young boy and young man. Who haven't seen this, one of the like mainstream, like it isn't mainstream anymore, but like one of the topest animes in the world. Like I hate the ending and I hate it, on a personal level, but for the opening, it was the, for many people one of the best openings with the perfect visuals, elements. Like um, compared to the anime itself, it's like making you wish to watch the anime. So your rings on the buckle free. Yeah, I have a beautiful earring. That makes sense. Free. Go for in the fight philosophy. Young boy, and you'll become a legend. Yeah, I'm doing. You guys do my work. Actually, I don't feel like listening to music. I just feel like somebody wants to watch, you can watch. Just listen to Glitch in the Matrix. My child decides she wants. There we go. I'm sorry, it doesn't. It's what will take you down.
I'm not someone who believes in ghosts or other supernatural stuff. I've had some odd experiences in the past and just shrugged them off. I don't delve into the strange side of my universe. I don't do conspiracy theories, none of that. I'm a pretty basic, down-to-earth person who does just the facts. But this rapid, a few months later, I haven't been able to just shrug it off. So maybe someone can help explain what I experienced. I just moved into my new accommodations a few weeks earlier, so all my stuff wasn't put away. My bed frame was still unassembled, and my mattress and box spring were on the floor. I live on the top floor, corner unit of a tall condo, secured building, with a guard at each entrance during the night. So no one comes in who doesn't live here or is visiting someone who lives here. People sign in and out, and there are security cameras. Where my condo is at the very end of a long hallway, and around a corner, the only entrance. There are only 4 condos on the top floor, as opposed to 6 or 8 on the other floors. It's very quiet. No reason for anyone to be here without a reason, plus guards and cameras. I'm asleep one night, 4 a.m., so deep asleep. Exhausted from a long day of travel, work, trying to get my place put together. My bedroom is isolated from the rest of the unit, a large master bedroom and master bath combo. Suddenly I am awake and on my feet. From complete dead sleep to up and moving instantly. What woke me? This is the very strange part. I distinctly felt someone put one hand on the bed. The depression of the weight leaning forward, the other hand lightly brushing my forearm, which was about the brains, and putting a light but firm kiss on my forehead. This was not a dream or my imagination. When I sat straight up in bed, I could smell it. I put my hand on my forehead where the kiss had been, and my feet hit the ground just as the master bathroom light came on. The master bath is just around the corner of the room. But the door was open, so the light coming on illuminated the hallway and one end of my bedroom. Without thinking, this is all happening in seconds, I headed towards the bathroom wondering what just happened, and knowing someone is in my condo. The freaking light just came on,
Sen föredrar du första gången.
and they kissed me. I go to the bathroom area. There was a small dressing
Simon, det kanske att man hade förutsatt lappat att man glitch in the Matrix.
But I hear someone somehow say, "It's not what you think," or something along that line. I don't really remember what it was exactly, but kind of a "don't worry, I'm not hurting you, relax" kind of thing. Except there was no one there, no one talking, nothing. I'm wide awake now.
תודה.
I go to the front door and push the button for the security.
בטח שאני אקרא לך סנפאי, ככה אני ארפר לך, אני ארפר עלייך
She comes in.
בסנפאי.
This is not reasonable. Someone is here. She walks toward
כדי
the
לא
house,
להשתמש בשמך, אז אני פשוט אגיד סנפאי.
and just then, it goes off. She looks at me.
I had to ask
She
the
goes
permission
back quickly,
to
talking
film
to someone else.
the
And I go to
the work
kitchen
from
area,
Senpai.
the other door.
I like
The other guard arrives.
because you know she likes her private. You can understand that, of
Looking
course.
around.
She's
She
Senpai.
tells him what she saw, and she tells him something I hadn't noticed. That when the light went out,
Like-
there was a smell. Very
It's so
likely
long
someone was
since we
definitely
met.
there.
I don't
I'm
remember.
thinking it's the same smell I experienced when I awoke from the kiss. It's
think
not
it's-
something I can describe.
I was 16 when I met her. I won't say her age or anything,
There's no odor.
but I was in my age. I'm 23 and I was 16. We have an age difference. I won't say any more than that.
They look on the terrace, they check all the closets, etc.
I was
Then they say they
So
will
young.
look at the cameras later.
I was 16 when I did
The
that.
next day, I get a note on my door from security that says nothing was found on the cameras, but they will keep an eye on it. A few weeks later, I have a chance to see the woman security officer who responded, and she goes up in the elevator with me. She says that was one of the strangest things she's responded to, and she definitely felt someone was there, but there was absolutely no sign of another person. Still can't figure it out. 2. This happened back in, I'd say early 2014. It was the strangest experience
I
I've
have to
ever had,
listen to Glitch in the Matrix.
and I have many
Like,
others considering
My senpai is like coming in and out of the stream, so
I'm a
she's
21-year-old
like
woman
she's
with an empath.
she messaged me.
I run my
Her
own
camera
charitable
moved,
business. And this was
Oh,
about the
senpai,
time I started
you're
to
funny.
really refine my abilities.
and the effects.
I used to use Tumblr when reading others and would often use it to research various things. Being that most of the users I follow are trustworthy people. We often talked when we had hard times and read one another or simply just answered and asked questions. I do go on every once in a while, but not as much as I used to. That being said, I'd often read others for my own growth, intuition-wise. And for the most part, it's paid off. That being said, and if you have further questions, I'll surely answer. Now on to our story. I don't really remember her name, and honestly, it doesn't really matter. She asked for a reading much like everyone I'd come into contact, and I did my services giving her the answer I found. I gave her the best advice I could give at that time. We hit it off and became friendly with one another right after, and we talked a few times
You
after.
can sound it.
Maybe after our first
Nice.
few interactions, she told me she was also an empath, and we talked about the struggles. She started to flirt with me, and I thought she was cute inside and out. So I'd also flirt back a little. We talked for about a couple of hours, and this was when we would flirt with each other. Of course, I wasn't super serious about it, and lightheartedly would reply that night. While we chatted, she and I would continue. However, something about this was different. I was strangely aware for some time when this happened, so my something is up meter was on high alert. Well, I was right, because after that the computer I had froze completely, and for some reason I wanted to seriously screenshot the entire convo, but I could anyways. But went against my better judgment and decided not to. I needed to refresh the entire site, since this was the only thing that froze and everything else on my PC was perfectly fine, as were the other tabs, totally normal. So I'd done the deed, and went to talk to her again. Only something was seriously wrong. We had a full conversation, but our convo had deleted itself. Strangest thing I encountered for the moment. So I asked her if she had something wrong with her account as well, only she had no idea what I was talking about. Now a little more about me. If I suspect something, I'm gonna shut up and observe, make absolute sure there is no bullshit. I went on and talked. A few minutes later, she was on the right track, and we were doing our convo all over again. This floored me because she didn't seem to have any idea we were redoing our earlier conversation. But this time, I decided to switch it up a bit. Same answers, but worded differently. Or I'd just switch it up a little. Other than that, our convo went back to almost the exact same thing. Afterwards, I asked her if she was messing with me, and she answered truthfully, since, at that time, I didn't care who you were, I was only in it for the practice, and intruded on everyone's emotions and thoughts. Wrong, I know. That was me trying to grow, however. I told her exactly what happened, and she, of course, was slightly skeptical. And there isn't anything wrong with that at all. But she believed me, since she could also feel my thoughts and emotions. I had another strange experience, similar in 2016, but I'll save that for another day.
Look what I've done! Even this tiny
I don't even
version.
know how to explain this. There's been something bothering me for the past 3 years or so.
I don't need
It
to.
all started with this weird dream. It was an extremely realistic dream, with me just going about my day normally from the moment I woke up. However, later in the afternoon, I was drawing and using a wolf figure to help with making shadows on the drawing. My mother was sitting next to me, watching TV. She flinched every time I held the figure back for a bigger shadow. So after a few times of her doing that, I asked her, "Why are you flinching?" She then put her hand on my shoulder, and I saw her eyes roll back into her head, and her entire body began to shake. I could tell she was trying to say something, but I couldn't figure out what. I didn't think much of it at the time, yet I always wake up shaking and sweating after a nightmare, which is what I thought it was. But for this time, I didn't. A month later, I had the exact same dream. However, my dad was in the dream as well. My mother did not start shaking and her eyes didn't roll back, but instead, when she put her hand on my shoulder, the same thing happened to me. My dad started freaking out, but when he tried to touch me, he flinched back. I kept trying to say the vortex over and over. The dream ended. A year after that, I was doing a project in school. I was using Google Earth, and I was in the space feature instead, if that makes sense. I was just exploring, looking at all the different stars and such, when I saw it. The vortex. I got so scared my entire body tensed up, but I knew it was there and that I saw it. I scrolled away from it. But when I scrolled back to exactly where it wasn't there anymore. The most recent event having to do with this was in November. I checked on my drafts in a fanfiction site and noticed something odd. There was a draft I had absolutely no memory of making, and nobody knows about any of this stuff or has access to my account, and it was titled The Vortex. All that was written was white eyes over and over again. It was created at 3 a.m., and I was asleep during that time, so there's no possible way I could have made it. But it was there. The next day I published it, but then made it so that it couldn't be traced back to my account. Every time I had done this with another story, I was always able to get back to it. I kept the links on a Google document. Yet when I went back to the link, it was just the white screen. I've been doing so much research on the vortex, yet I cannot find any sort of answer similar to what I am experiencing. I feel as if there is something trying to tell me something, perhaps about it. I seriously don't know. If it had stayed as a dream, then I would have dropped it. But the fact it appeared in reality twice after that scares me, and I would like to know if anybody has a similar experience or knows anything about the vortex. Thank you. 4. So there's this pattern that keeps popping up. The first time this ever happened, I'm not going to lie, I was tripping on 2 hits of some acid. This was toward the end of the trip when the visuals were less intense, and I was more or less just processing the experience, staring up at this tapestry hanging behind my TV, when I noticed a small spiraling ripple forming in my spectrum of vision. It looked like a metaphysical drill or something that was boring right through my perspective on reality. My eyes had to be relaxed but focused for me to see it, and the harder I managed to focus on it, the more elusive it became. As it became more sharply defined, I noticed it appeared to be a pattern of interlocking white circles all spiraling around a singularity. Picture 3 seed of life patterns overlaid, all twisting in different directions at different speeds. I was mind blown, and this thing was fascinating to look at. So I just stared at it for a good 20 minutes or so, until something even crazier happened. Eventually, both hemispheres of my visual spectrum, what I can see with my left eye and what I can see with my right eye, seemed to collapse in on each other. This caused my entire perspective on reality to ripple, as if it were a still pond that someone suddenly tossed a large rock into. It seems like things haven't looked the same since. Months later, I was driving down the highway on a road trip to Iowa, completely sober, I might add, on my way to see my dad. I was a little tired and my windshield was pretty dirty, so it was kind of hard to keep my complete focus on the road. My eyes were relaxing a little bit, and I noticed that familiar ripple begin to appear again. I got excited and started focusing on it. Just like the last time, it became more and more clear to me. I was focusing on the pattern the best I could while still safely driving, which was easier than it sounds for some reason. It was like I was comfortably driving with my peripheral vision. Anyways, as I'm staring at this pattern, the singularity in the middle begins to open up, and out of it stepped this crazy-looking little figure. The best way I can describe this thing is like a mix between the Pillsbury Doughboy, except minus the hat, and a Flubber. It looked more like the Pillsbury Doughboy, but it moved like Flubber. It stepped out of the pattern and did a little dance for me, waving at me and gesturing toward me. All the while, I'm sitting there in awe that this is happening in the first place. It danced around for maybe 30 seconds, then waved me off and stepped back into the doorway as it closed back into the original pattern, which stayed there for as long as I cared to look at it. Completely blew me away. Still start shaking a little just thinking about it. The craziest part is this pattern has since come to me dozens of times, all sober, whenever my eyes get a certain level of relaxed. On occasion, I can make it appear, if I focus hard enough. The only other noteworthy instance of this happening occurred after work one day when I was sitting home alone. I noticed the pattern and began to try to manipulate it in a few different ways. I tried moving it around, expanding it, and just playing with it until eventually I tried looking deeper into it. When I did this, it was like I began to pull apart the seams of physical reality. The curtains I was looking at began to pull apart into this beautiful tapestry of patterns and energy waves shifting and culminating in different ways. There were so many colors and so many different geometrical patterns, but they all had a certain uniformity to them, like there was meaning imbued with what I was seeing. Eventually I closed my eyes and noticed that the pattern was still there. I tried looking into it again, and began free-falling through this vortex like tunnel of patterns and energy. I wish I could say more on what happened, but the next thing I remember, I woke up on my couch, although I did have a very strong feeling of having just had an intricate dream. You know that feeling like you're grasping at straws for detail, but you still have some semblance of a vague recollection about the dream. Just wish I could remember something more concrete. Anyway, sorry for the long post. Hopefully someone out there can relate to these experiences, and maybe offer up some theories on what exactly is happening to me. I have plenty of my own, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. 5. Every 3 weeks, I drive to a clinic roughly 34 miles from my home. I've been doing this for a couple of years now. We had a couple of blocks to the parkway, down that to the interstate, take that to the next town over, exit, and then drive a few more blocks. It always takes 30 minutes, give or take. There's a grocery store near the clinic that I really like. I didn't have an appointment today, but bad weather is forecast. So I ran down to stock up for the weekend. The trip down was perfectly normal. Shopping was perfectly normal. When I was getting ready to leave the store's parking lot, I looked at my watch. It was 11:29. Since I'd put a new battery in my watch only this morning, and had to set it, I know it was correct. I also waited a few seconds for the radio to show the station, and then switched to the time. Again, 11:29. Particularly noteworthy because my watch and the car clock are rarely in sync. The time was important because it meant I'd be getting back to town just as the noon rush started, which ruled out my hitting Taco Bell. I hate crowds and waiting in line. I considered grabbing something there, but there isn't any place between the store and the interstate, and I didn't feel like going deeper into the city, bad streets. So I just headed back. Perfectly normal traffic. I passed some people passed me. The weather was a little drizzly, but nothing out of the ordinary. Concentrating hard. The last place I remember clearly on the interstate came about 5 minutes before the interchange for the parkway. Then I saw a sign for an exit, which is on the parkway about 5 minutes after the interchange.
No.
So I spaced out for 10 minutes of driving. Okay, it happens. But it's very, very doubtful it would have happened there. The Interstate Parkway interchange is a T. The parkway ends at the interstate. And I hate it with all my heart. You can't take the exit at speed, so you slow down. And although you're merging into an empty lane, people coming from the opposite direction on the interstate are in the left lane and have enough room to get back up to speed. A lot of them want to instantly get into the right lane, and it's impossible for them to see you coming up the ramp. I've nearly been hit there twice over the years, and it always makes it feel like it's a really special day when there's no other traffic at that point. Okay, so I really, really spaced off. It can happen. Except the time didn't jive. According to the clock, I was 10 minutes ahead of where I should have been. I arrived home at 11:49, paired both my watch and the car clock. 20 minutes for a trip that always takes me 30 minutes, and 10 minutes worth of driving that I didn't experience. It's like the universe hit the skip to next chapter button on a DVD player. I slept normally. The only medication I've taken is for blood pressure, which I've been on for years without any side effects, and some aspirin because of a lingering sinus headache. I've done everything I can to try to jog my memory. Thought about the exit signs I've seen dozens of times. Thought about the interchange. Everything, but nothing.
Nice stories, isn't it?
It's like those 10 minutes just didn't happen for me. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to 5 True Glitch in the Matrix Stories, number 53.
Great. I love to listen, as you can see. I will need...
1. This was a few years back when my sister, my cousin, and I used to have family camping vacations. It was always the same campground and the same time of year. We knew that campground inside and out, and we were always together in a group. If someone wanted to go to the beach, we all packed up and went. We even made the walk to the restrooms together. That's where our glitch happened. Most of the time, it was only one of us who had to use the restroom, so the others would sit on the bench outside. The restrooms had a main walk path that went through the middle of the building, and you could access the showers on the right, or men's and women's restrooms on the left. The bench faced into this walk path, so we would sit and people watch while we waited. This time it was my cousin and me sitting on the bench, chatting and waiting for my sister. We both looked up as a lady and her daughter walked past, out of the women's restroom, and walked past us sitting on the bench. We turned back to each other and kept talking. We hear the door open again about a minute and a half later, and it's the same woman and her daughter. I know it was because I remember thinking how cute the little girl's dress was she had on. And they were having the exact same conversation as they were when they first passed about the little girl washing her hands. My cousin and I fell silent and turned to each other. At the same time, we were like, she came out of the bathroom already, like 2 minutes ago. We still to this day have no way of explaining it. Another time, the same cousin and I went horseback riding down my road like we used to do every summer.
Not sure what it is.
Near the end of the road to the right was a wooded area with a path going through it. As we approached the woods, the horses started acting weird, like they were scared to keep going. Having grown up with these stubborn horses, we figured they were trying to get their way and head back to the barn. We kept them going forward and got in front of the path in the woods. We both looked down it, thinking maybe there's something spooking the horses. There was a man squatting in the middle of the path, looking down. When we stopped the horses, he turned and looked up, and he didn't have a human face. His nose was long like a king, and his head was larger than a human. He stood up, and his stature wasn't human-like either. And we realized he wasn't wearing a shirt but was covered in hair. As soon as he stood up, we turned the horses around and booked it back to the house. We didn't say a word until we were back in our yard. We were speechless. What had we just seen? And when I checked the time, about 30 extra minutes had gone by from our normal ride time. There's no way we sat there staring at this thing for 30 minutes. No one ever believes this story. But my cousin and I know now.
No, that's not
There's
it.
some weird stuff out there. 2. When I was 12, my family of 4 went to the Oregon coast to visit my grandmother. She lived in Portland. On one of the days, we decided to stay overnight in a hotel that was on the coast to see the ocean. As Portland is roughly an hour away from the ocean, and my little sister had never seen it before. It was a cold, windy, and rainy day. And unfortunately, it turned out that the area of beach our hotel was near had a shitty beach. The sand was coarse, and there were lots of sticks and rocks ashore. So we didn't go there to swim that first day. We just went to go and see it and wet our feet. It took us about 5 minutes to walk to the beach from our hotel to the shore. As soon as we approached the waterline, I ran into the frigid water. It was like March, I believe, but I was so excited. I didn't make it very far before my mom freaked out and told me I was in too deep. She was such a worrywart, and I also got too cold. My little sister, who was 6 at the time, was wearing a dress, and I could barely get her to wet her feet. She was scared, and the water was so cold. My dad noticed pretty quickly a fossil. It was an impression fossil of some seaweed. He still has it in his man cave at his house. So he was entertained looking for more. My mom and grandma were just sitting back a little bit talking. So I decided to entertain my sister by drawing in the sand. She complains that her stick is too small, or it breaks or something like that. I don't remember, but for some reason I look over my shoulder and I see a bigger stick for drawing in the sand from where we are both squatted, and I hop up and go to get it. I take several quick strides, pick up the stick, then turn around, and she's gone. I look right and left, down both directions of the coastline, where I see the others in the opposite direction. but not my sister, where she had been crouched down, drawing in the sand right behind me 10 seconds ago. I instantly feel panicked and call out her name. Ashley! Ashley! Where did you go? My dad straightens up from scouring the sandbeds, and my grandma and mom stop mid-sentence and look over. Again I call, Ashley! By now I had ran the several feet back over to where we had been drawing in the sand, and there were no footprints marking her ever having walked anywhere at all. I was so confused. The adults ran over to me. Where's your sister? You were supposed to be watching her, one of them said. I know. I only turned my back for a second and walked a little bit away to grab this stick. She was right here just a second ago. There's no footprints, my dad says as he runs toward the water, as we had all been leaving footprints everywhere we had been walking. We all panicked. She was only 6 years old. Ashley! We were all calling for her. My dad instructed my mom to head down on the direction of the coast, and my grandmother the other, while I helped him look in the water. Horrible thoughts were going through my mind, and my heart was pounding. This can't be real. This can't be happening. My baby sister is lost, and it's my fault. It's important to note that this was before the time of cell phones, as it was the 90s. Also, this was a plain beach with no caves or large logs, save for one small boulder the size of a go-kart, which we crawled on top of to look for her and circled around maniacally, so she couldn't have been hiding behind it either. We had seen no other people at the beach, and there's no way she could have walked back to the hotel in the time I turned around. Thus, she would have had to walk past me, and we would have seen her walking for the minutes it would have taken her to walk there, even if she army crawled because there was no tall grass. By now it felt like it had been 30 minutes, although it had probably only been 10, and my grandma had decided to run back to the hotel to call for help. When, all of a sudden, while my dad and I are chest deep in the water, sticking our heads under looking for her, I pop my head back up, and I see her, just calm as can be, drawing in the sand, squatting where she was when she had disappeared, like nothing had happened. Ashley! I cry aloud. My mom hears me and looks over. She runs over to her and my dad, and I run through the freezing water as fast as I can. We all run up to her, freaking out and crying. My mom quickly turns to a form of understandable yet age-appropriate anger, demanding to know where she went and why she would do such a thing to us at the ocean of all places. Ashley, however, was looking at us all like we had completely lost our minds, like we were actually starting to scare her. She was confused. She said that she didn't go anywhere at all, that she was right there drawing in the sand the whole time, that she never heard or saw any of us searching for her at all. This did not make any sense. So I asked her about me getting up to get the stick, and basically from her account, that had just barely happened. So what the hell happened?
Nah.
It was like my sister just disappeared for real for a little while. We were all confused, but just so thankful that she was okay, that we didn't care. But I've always vividly remembered this because it was just so weird. For her to just be back so suddenly right where she had been, out in the open, when she had disappeared with nowhere to hide. Perhaps she just glitched out of this reality for a little while. But thank goodness it was corrected, and she had no memory of it.
Die.
3. About a year ago, I was headed to a local Target to go window shopping with my mom. We hung around for a bit, looking at random things, then went our separate ways. She went off to the middle of the store where the kitchen aisle is, and I went to the back of the store where the electronics are. Now, I've been to this store hundreds of times, so I know it well enough to know that I need to go through the furniture aisle, go straight, then the toy aisle, which would then lead to the electronic aisle. After a few minutes of looking at games and walking around randomly, she texts me and asks me if I'm ready to leave. I tell her I am, and she asks me to meet her in the front. I start back down the toy aisle, then through the furniture. That's when something seemed off. I come from a small town, and this Target is the only one close by, so it's usually filled to the gills with people. However, after I turned the corner from the electronics aisle into the toy aisle, there were less people and it got quieter. After getting into the furniture aisle,
Well,
the ribbon
I did
was
just this
and it
part,
was dead silent.
and I'm going
No
now.
chatter, no employees over
Oh,
the
thank you for
intercom system,
staying me. We were
not even the
still.
distant sounds of the squeaky wheels on the old shopping carts. Absolutely nothing. My heart starts beating faster as it's becoming more and more evident that something is not right. I pick up the pace and make my way towards what I knew to be the kitchen aisle, where my mom would have been walking out from. But when I turned the corner, the shelves were empty, and there was nothing but a giant black wall. It towered above me, giving off a menacing aura, almost as if to tell me